This episode of Spectre Sound Studios is brought to you by DistroKid. Get your music online and out to the world today.
It's the mic's fault. I love people.
Well, of course it's the mic's fault. Otherwise, somebody's very, very expensive purchase would be invalidated. Good morning, everybody. How's it going? It is a Friday, November the 17th. Hope you're going to have an absolutely amazing weekend. Just want to say, wow. I asked a bunch of you guys to subscribe to the show over the last couple of episodes because right now only about 42% of the people who watch the show are subscribed. And I've got a lot more people coming on board, so I'd like to say, hey, you know what? Welcome to the show. It's going to be a very interesting ride, and we're very happy to have you on board. Buckle your seatbelts. It will get bumpy from time to time as we challenge certain misconceptions about the whole idea of recording hard rock and metal. Right now, we've been going down kind of the whole pickups rabbit hole and just uncovering a bunch of basic truths that we as consumers really need to understand. And needless to say, this is really pissing off the tone snob crowd quite a bit. Anyway, we got some absolutely incredible comments and questions for you guys on this episode. This is all created by you, and I do this every single week where I try and show you guys the best of what's going on the channel, because this is an interactive show, and most of all, I want to hear from you. So if you've got a comment, you've got a question, you want to learn something, feel free, and if it's cool, I will be more than happy to put it on the show. Let's get to it.
Hi, Glenn. I really like that you're one of the very few music YouTubers that tells us not to buy unnecessary gear. I'm not immune to the marketing tricks that companies like to play on us, but I was fortunate enough to see through the pickup marketing bullshit quite early in my career. Out of curiosity, I bought this Korean Hot Rails pickup for the equivalent of like $20 US. And aside from the poor soldering from the factory, this pickup is amazing. On my recordings, I can't tell the difference between it and my LP studio. If I have a chance, I'll always go with the cheaper pickup first. If it works, awesome. If it doesn't, there's always other options.
Now that sounds like an interesting concept for a video. That might be something I want to investigate a little further down the road, because we've really shown just how little difference pickups make during the whole clean versus edge of breakup tone when we shout out the Les Paul, the Harley Benton, the Fender, and the PRS. On cleans, yes, there was definitely a noticeable difference from guitar to guitar, and that's absolutely fine. That's about what's expected. But there wasn't anything distinct about any of the guitars where the vast majority of people are saying, oh, that was the Fender, oh, that was the Les Paul. In fact, most people who thought they were listening to a Les Paul picked this guitar, a $269 Harley Benton. So there you go. Turns out this thing's an absolute fucking monster, and it's one of the best values on the guitar market these days. It's just plays incredible. There's, they did amazing fretwork on it. The setup's great. This is just great right out of the box, and it's only $269. Really, you can't go wrong with one of these. It's truly a great time to be a guitar player.
Glenn, how dare you introduce your audience to an affordable, great-sounding cabinet for home recording? I thought this channel was for who has the most expensive shit.
Well, that's the thing. I asked you guys about that last year. What do you want to see? Do you want to see the cheap stuff? You want to see the expensive stuff? And the vast majority of you guys said, no, show us both. So I'm more than happy to do that. I love the cheap Harley Benton cabs. I think they're amazing, especially with what you get with what you pay for. I had one show up last summer. The box was trashed. And people said, oh, the quality on that thing's going to suck. It's like it literally survived a beating through customs and came out sounding absolutely incredible. That was the vertical 2x12 with the vintage 30s in it. Sounds absolutely amazing. I've got another one on the way from Germany right now. We're going to be taking a look at the cabinet with greenback speakers in them. We can do a little shootout there, and then I might try putting up against some of my more expensive cabinets as well, and just see what kind of results you get, because when you start comparing speakers and cabinets, that's when you start hearing the huge shifts in tone. Once again, it's a great time to be a guitar player, but it's also a great time to be a home recording engineer, because we have access to super affordable cabinets like the Harley Benton 2x12s.
Other tones are allowed in metal. You're quite possibly the first metal producer I've ever heard say that. Thank you. I'm sending this video to everyone I've ever recorded with.
Well, Chuck, I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much. I've been saying this for the last couple of years. It's like we can break out of the vintage 30 mold and try new things, hence that greenback cabinet coming in. I just talked to Mojotone. They're sending me some new speakers as well. They're going to be sending me their new neodymium magnet, super lightweight speakers. Hopefully those are going to sound cool. And they're also going to send me a set of their Watchtower speakers, which are made in England Celestian greenbacks, but they're about $35 less per speaker. I'm guessing they bought these things in bulk. So if you're looking to outfit a 4x12 with real made in England greenbacks, these are a definite option. It's going to probably wind up saving you about $120 when you buy all 4. I think that's a hell of a deal, so that's why I'm going to put that on the show. And I almost forgot. I've been working on this one for the last month or so. It's taken a long time to put this one together, so naturally this video is probably going to tank. It's going to be coming out on next Wednesday, and it's going to be all about different speakers for metal that aren't vintage 30s. And what I do is I tell you the story of how the vintage 30 became so popular and how many producers and guitar players have become paralyzed and terrified of trying anything else but a vintage 30 because they're so afraid of going outside this hive mind Borg collective of fucking social media because, God forbid, they make a mistake. Anyway, it's going to be a super exciting video, and please make sure you subscribe so you get notified about that one because it's hopefully going to open up some new tone options for you guys recording at home. It's something you definitely don't want to miss, especially if you're tired of sounding exactly like everyone else.
Glenn, can you get Jim Lill on the channel?
Oh man, I would absolutely love to get Jim on the channel. I watch his videos all the time. I think they're absolutely phenomenal. I love his methodology and how he does his tests and whatnot. He's another guy who's really destroyed a lot of guitar myths. I think the guy's an absolute treasure. It would be my honor to have him on the channel. I've reached out on his channel a couple times and said, hey, if you want to collab at some time, never really gotten a reply. I'm sure he gets, deluged with emails all the time. So all I can say is this, if you want to see Jim on the show, I'd say go head over to Jim's channel and leave some comments. Hey, please make an appearance on Spectre Sound. I would absolutely love to get Jim on the show. I think it'd be really awesome. I'd love to see what the two of us could do in some kind of myth busting test. Hell, I would drive down to Nashville to go make a video with that dude because Nashville's got awesome barbecue and I'm a huge fan of Monell's as well. So yeah, going to Jim's would just be like saying an extra bonus. That's for sure. All right, guys, we're going to do a new segment on the show. It's kind of a rapid fire thing. I think you guys are going to really enjoy this. But before we get into that, we've got a word from the show's longtime sponsor, and that is DistroKid. If you're releasing music to the world, you need DistroKid. I've been using them since 2015, and they kick ass. If you want to get your tracks out to Apple Music, Amazon, Google Play, and Spotify, and even 150 smaller sites, then cough up a whopping $22.99 a year, and you can keep 100% of your earnings. DistroKid also has tons of cool features like Spotify Hyperfollow for more followers, change your image on Apple Music and iTunes, and you can add credits and liner notes too. You can now list musicians, contact info, social media profiles, and hundreds of other roles. And what's really cool, there's now a mobile app so you can upload your music on the go, track your stats, and track your earnings too. DistroKid Splits allows you to pay your collaborators automatically by percentage so you can concentrate on making music instead of learning how to be an accountant. You can change your splits, plus add or remove collaborators at any time, and collaborators even get a 50% discount on their own DistroKid account. There's 3 levels of plans available: Musician, Musician Plus, and even one for labels. Sadly, there's no bass player, only one. They did make it simple enough for anybody to follow. I use DistroKid to put my music online, including this channel's theme song, The Eagle Has Landed, and I even got a license through DistroKid for that cover of Moon on the Water that we did a while back. And that's one of my favorite features, easy cover song licenses. What are you doing watching me? Get over to distrokid.com/VIP/Spectre today and grab yourself a 7% discount on your first year. DistroKid's the easiest way to get your music out to the world. Follow the link in the description below. Now back to the show. Once again, thanks so much to DistroKid for sponsoring. They're absolutely amazing people, and they're definitely my number one choice to get my music online. I've been using them for years. Can't recommend them enough. All right, now we're going to do a new segment on this show called Pathetic Excuses.
You really didn't do enough to this test, Glenn. All sounds were unusable in the sense that no one would record a tone like that. You dial in each guitar to sound its best, like an LP will do the Slash thing, and a Strat will do the Iron Maiden thing, etc. And in the real world, you would EQ those cleans so they don't sound so bland, and you didn't use a suitable amp.
Thank you so much, Murray Guitar Pickups, for weighing in with your thoughts on my guitar shootout. I really appreciate that. Now, I did have a really witty comeback in mind for this, but you know what? I thought I'd reach out to the guitar player who actually played on this, Christian Vey, and this was his quote. "There is no amp more qualified for a clean tone. Where do these people come from?" Well, I looked up Murray Guitar Pickups and turns out Australia. I don't know what they're feeding you guys down there, but yeah, $6,000 Dumble clone isn't the right amp for clean and edge of breakup. Murray, I say this in the most respectful manner possible. Please stop. You're not doing yourself any favors right now.
Stop it. Get some help.
Everyone Everyone is harping on the differences between these tones as if they weren't so masterfully recorded that any of them could be professionally used for their intended purposes. Most of these people harping on these minor differences in tone can't even get a decent one when they record themselves at home, so I'm not putting much stock into what they say anyway.
Hold on a second, man. The guy's trying to sell you pickups said I recorded those guitars badly. Seriously, dude, you should probably take his word for it, because there's no ulterior motive there at all.
All guitars sound exactly the same. Glenn the Grifter.
All right, Mephilus78, let's pump the brakes there a little bit. Please do not put words in my mouth. Not once have I ever said that. In fact, guitars do sound different when they're clean. Are they distinct from humbucker to humbucker? No. Are there slight differences? Yes. And as soon as we even put a tiny bit of gain onto that signal, that difference gets even smaller. And the difference shrinks down to infinitesimal when we start putting on more gain. Let me do a little public service announcement for you guys. Please stop sniffing glue and pay attention. I am trying to save you money.
Funny how the Dunning-Kruger unicorn tone snobs with their mystical abilities are nowhere to be seen even 6 days later. I bet they appear after the reveal video saying, "Oh, but I knew those were the guitars."
Well, we've definitely had a number of those. The most interesting thing, though, I think, and I forgot to mention this in the reveal video, I think the least favorite guitar out of all of them was probably the Paul Reed Smith. I think that says an awful lot about Paul Reed Smith's claims about Tonewood.
I hope this video doesn't take my Gibson Les Paul value. XD, thanks for this. I'm never buying an expensive guitar ever again.
I wouldn't worry about the value of your Les Paul tanking. There's always going to be people willing to spend way too much money on a status piece. And that's essentially what Les Pauls are. I mean, like, expensive guitars are really nice. I've got a few in here. They're magnificent. You know, there's no question about it. Some more than others. Some guitars aren't coated in transparent Kleenex. But as for any kind of tonal advantages, expensive versus cheap, yeah, that's absolute 100% pure unfiltered bullshit. Just keep that in mind the next time you go guitar shopping.
I don't think strings make a huge tone change from brand to brand, not nearly as much as simply having new strings. Of course, you've shown me I never knew shit about what actually makes tone in an electric guitar. I was certain it was all in the hands. It's clearly not. I was certain pickups were a big deal. They clearly are. Only thing I knew before I got here was that tubes don't change your amp's tone. And now I know I should be shopping speakers if I ever go back to real amps, because you showed me what I needed to know about IRs. Thanks, Glenn.
Well, you're welcome, Vincent. I really appreciate you writing that. Again, I don't know for certain. I can't say one thing or another. I've only taken a very small pool of strings. My pure nickel strings from SIT versus some Maxima Golds. The Maximas were terrible, but I think they're an outlier. I'd want to check out, some stainless steel and nickel combos, different types of wraps. I wonder if I can find some of those Washburn slicks. Do they still make those? Are those still available on the market somewhere? Those might be worth checking out as well. Somebody asked if I can check out Rotosound. So I want to try out a couple different brands and see what we get and just kind of do a pool, and we're going to put them all onto the same guitar and see just how much the tone shifts. Because I am guessing that a string change is going to have more effect than a pickup change. But then again, I could be completely wrong. And you know what? I've made the best discoveries when I'm wrong. I've learned the most when I'm wrong. The sound is in the hands is one of the first videos I did on this show, because I thought, oh, the sound's in the hands. We're going to get all this variance from player to player to player. Turns out that's not true. Techniques in the hands, absolutely. How clear a guy plays a chord or frets something, absolutely, that's in the hands. But as for frequency shifts, as for revoicing the guitar sound, no. That, my friends, is in the speaker, and at this point, that's pretty much undeniable, no matter how much you paid for your high-end pickups.
Even when seeing them, I don't think the microscopic differences are relevant. What the fuck are those people smoking? They basically sound the same.
Well, when you put gain on, yes, they definitely sound very close to one another. Clean tone, maybe a little bit more divergence, but it's not night and day. And once again, it's not anything distinctive when somebody says, well, I can tell an HSS Strat apart from a Les Paul. Well, in a blind test, no, not really. And as we proved, the HSS Strat does not stand out in any kind of significant way from a Les Paul. Not in any kind of way where the vast majority of people were able to pick it out of a blind test. That's for certain anyway. Do with that as you will. Now, up next, we got a really important question here. I thought this was great. Here we go. Check this out.
In your video, pickup manufacturers do not want you to see this. You showed how similar all those different guitar pickups sounded at the high gain. Later in the video, you let us hear the direct signal from each guitar, and they sounded very different from each other. So what is causing the equalization of the tones across the guitars in that video? The amp? The speaker? I'm just not understanding how direct signals from pickups can sound so different, but then running through the guitar through an amp, and now they sound similar. What are your thoughts?
Well, Jared, it's simple. First and foremost, amplification. Nobody's ever made a straight wire with gain. That's the thing engineers are going for, but they're not there yet. The idea is to amplify a signal and keep it as true to the original as possible. But most amplifiers are flawed in one way or another, and they color the sound. The other thing is gain. When we add gain onto a sound, tubes tend to round off, the peaks and troughs of a waveform. And so when we add more gain, that gets rounded off more and more and more. And when you've got certain frequency spikes like pickups do, pickups will usually, passives anyway, will spike around 2 to 4 kilohertz by a couple of dBs. As we increase the gain on that signal and the clipping, that spike gets squashed down as well, so that frequency doesn't jump out as much. And then finally, the sound is going to go through a guitar speaker, and the guitar speaker is an incredibly complex filter. In fact, it's the final word in how your guitar sounds, and it's the most important thing in your guitar sound, and it's the most overlooked thing in your guitar sound. And I've got a super cool video coming out on Wednesday that's going to go into a deep dive on that. I think you don't want to miss that one. So basically, that's why when you play a guitar direct off the pickups and not through an amplifier system into a clean system like a DAW, and then it's going through a clean playback system like these awesome Atom S2As back here, that's why it sounds so different. But when you play it through a not so clean amplifier like a rock amp, yes, it's going to get coloration, and the sound is going to be much more governed by the amp and then governed by the guitar speaker. Hopefully that clears things up for you, man. Hopefully that answers your question. Thanks so much for asking that. I love diving into stuff like that because I think it's fucking cool.
Ah, yes, remember kids, the only thing that affects tone is the cab.
Once again, putting words in my mouth. I've never said it's the only thing. I said it was the most important thing. Actually, the most important thing is the speaker. But the cab does have a huge influence on the tone. And if you watch Jim Lill's video on cabinets, it's mostly down to the geometry of the cab as opposed to the actual physical makeup of it. That, again, is what's generating the sound of the guitar. That's the part everybody's actually hearing. You should be far more worried about what's coming out of your amp as opposed to what you're putting into your amp, besides the playing, that is. BB guitars, seriously, man, I've done video after video after video demonstrating this fact. You can plug your ears and scream, "No, I don't want to hear it, I don't want to hear it," as much as you like, but that's not going to change the reality of the situation. And the sooner you accept what's actually going on, you'll probably wind up saving yourself a shit ton of money. Good luck, man.
They do. Cheap pickups sound like crap, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree. Cheap pickups do sound like crap, especially to all the people that picked this guitar in the blind shootout.
Honestly, for the clean section, I think Guitar C sounded far better than the others. Edge of Breakup goes to Guitar B. I'm going to say the clean was the Strat, Edge of Breakup was the PRS. Shooting in the dark, but I think I may have nailed it, lol, wishful thinking.
Well, for cleans, you definitely picked the guitar with the cheap pickups that sound like crap. So there you go. Way to go, Mr. Golden Ears.
Hey, Clint, check out the West Creek Cerberus V guitar. I've heard that they're really good quality and they're under $300. They're like $250. Love your channel, bro. I've been watching for about 4 years. Keep up the good work and bring back Butthurt of the Week.
Hey, Rick, you know what? I found those on Amazon Canada. A lot of you guys are saying, hey, go check out Firefly guitars. I haven't been able to find them in Canada, but I have seen the West Creeks up on Amazon Canada, so I think I am going to grab one and do a review because I think that's going to be an awful lot of fun. I hope it doesn't suck. I hope it's as good as this Harley Benton back here. It's a bit of a crapshoot when it comes to these kind of guitars, but I'm more than happy to take the plunge, buy one, do a review, and make a recommendation based off that without any corporate fuckery going on. Once again, make sure you subscribe so you get updated when that one comes out. Oh yeah, speaking of Fearless Gear Reviews, I've got one of those Aero guitars sitting off in the other room. I need to unbox that one and take it for a ride. That one's going to be interesting, that's for sure. All right, everybody, that's it for this week's episode of SMG Viewers Comments. Thanks to everybody who wrote in, and thank you oh so much to everybody who hit the subscribe button. I'm absolutely grateful to you guys for that. Trying to grow this thing, hopefully going to get the gold play button one of these days. I need your help to make that happen, so all you guys did come on board, hey, thanks again. I think you're going to really like what's going to be coming on the show over the next few weeks and the next few months. It's going to be an awful lot of fun. That's for sure. Once again, thanks again to DistroKid for hitting the subscribe button. And remember, guys, as you leave, I'd love to leave you with one final thought. If your pickups aren't squealing or causing any kind of horrible feedback, they're the right ones in your guitar. Don't spend money you don't need to. Basically, is this thing loud enough? Oh, yeah. Check 2. Hey! Is that right? What is it? Yeah, fuck, hold on. Emergency alert system. Okay, great. Fuck sakes. Okay, hold on. Oh, shit. Sorry about that, Ziz.